What did you see in Thailand that makes you conclude just now that Thailand is also considered a creative country?
You have a very strong sense of design. You have a very good art scene. It's quite small. You have a strong sense of craft as well. You have a very strong craft scene. You're quite a big country, and you're a free country. And when I was here doing my report, I met a lot of people who were wanting to be creative, wanting to be innovative. In many cases frustrated because they couldn't start a company in the way they wanted to, or they couldn't run a company the way they wanted to, or they were up against some very big company that was a monopoly in effect and they couldn't operate in a free marketplace. So I got lots of evidence of people wanting to be creative. But at the same time, I must say I got evidence that in all sorts of little ways, they were finding it much harder than in some other countries.
Thailand is basically an agricultural country.
Yes.
How can we blend in creativity with agriculture?
Well, you can. Creativity can be applied to anything, so it can be applied to agriculture, whether in the way that you run the farm or the way you product design or the way you do your packaging and marketing and merchandising. It can be that.
You have been advising many countries on building up their creative economies. What are some of the more common obstacles that countries have to overcome in order to have a vibrant creative sector?
I'm going to talk about one obstacle that I found in Thailand, which is that there's a lot of knowledge in Thailand. There's a lot of insights, talent and insights and knowledge in Thailand about all this. But the different organizations, the individuals don't really talk to each other. There's a lot of knowledge, but it's often in the wrong place. Or there's knowledge and it's not used. It's just ignored. There's knowledge that someone might know about, but he thinks, I don't care. I don't want to know that. Which is the opposite of the creative mentality when you are open to new ideas. And it doesn't matter where your new ideas come from. If it helps you, the community, you will use it. So I think, in a way, Thailand is quite a static society. It's quite fragmented. It's hard to get agreement amongst all the stakeholders, all the people who have an interest in anything. People are reluctant to commit themselves to a new initiative because they're always jockeying or negotiating for position. And that slows everything down, and then when something does in the end happen, there's always someone on the sideline saying, it's not going to work. And that means it's very hard for the society to change. It's hard for it to develop, and it's particularly hard for it to take on board new ideas.
South Korea is a country that is well cited by so many case studies or researches of how successful it became of its creative economy. What are the main factors that contribute to South Korea's success?
I think they have very good broadband. That was really important. That sent a message out to everybody that they were at the forefront worldwide of broadband. They were ahead of the Americans, they were ahead of Europe. So that was pure government expenditure. You know, we are going to have the best broadband in the world. That was something the government could do.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure. They also brought together their film, television, games, music agencies into one national agency, which was a very shrewd thing to do. They also happened to have some quite funky TV and some quite good pop music that people liked, which is incredibly helpful. If you've got some creative people there that are doing stuff that people like, that's really helpful. They had a strong underlying economy, and they had a stable government. Stability is very important at the framework level, at the government, national government level. You don't want riots, you don't want civil war. Civil war is really bad for creativity. People just don't want to do it. So Korea had many of the factors that were very important. And I think it's still good, but China is so much bigger, has a much richer culture, and is much more international.
But can models like the Scandinavian countries or South Korea or the United States be replicated elsewhere?
You can't model a whole country. What you can do is model certain factors, or you can learn, coming back to learning. You look at another country, you say, well, that's actually quite interesting. We won't do that exactly the same here. We'll model it slightly differently in our own country. But we'll take this bit, that bit, that bit. It's the same creative process. You look and see what's out there. You look and find what's interesting. You sort of take it back home. You sort of hold it upside down, give another colour, you change it, you borrow bits from here, bits from there, you borrow another bit from there, and you come up with your own model.
คุณจรบอกว่าประเทศไทยมีพื้นของความคิดสร้างสรรค์อยู่แล้วนะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นสิ่งที่ตาเห็นจับต้องได้อย่างเช่นงานหัตถกรรมหรือว่าจะเป็นสถาปัตยกรรมเป็นต้นแต่ว่าจะเป็นสิ่งที่มองไม่เห็นจับต้องไม่ได้คนไทยก็ไม่ได้ด้อยเลยนะคะเพราะว่าคนไทยจะมีไอเดียแจ๋วๆในการทำธุรกิจใหม่ๆหรือว่าจะเป็นวิธีการแก้ไขปัญหาต่างๆการบริหารจัดการองค์กรให้ดีขึ้นมีประสิทธิภาพมากยิ่งขึ้นเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเกิดว่าได้รับการส่งเสริมอย่างเป็นรูปธรรมและมีประสิทธิภาพเชื่อว่าภาคเศรษฐกิจสร้างสรรค์ของไทยจะก้าวไกลอีกเยอะเลยค่ะทั้งสร้างรายได้และชื่อเสียงให้ประเทศไทยอย่างแน่นอนพบกันใหม่ในสัปดาห์หน้านะคะวันนี้สวัสดีค่ะ